Howdy, folks. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me in this podcast on the limitations of nutritional therapy. Now, I believe many people don't really understand this subject and what I'm talking about. It's a very important subject. We're talking about taking vitamins and minerals, and we're talking about mostly we're going to talk about the difference between taking synthetic vitamins and minerals and taking food-based vitamins and minerals, and of course getting these nutrients from your food over taking them from a pill or a synthetic, particularly a synthetic source. We're also going to talk about the different types of health conditions that really need nutritional therapy, which are really quite limited. Many of our health conditions that we have in modern times are due to toxicity, uh, congestion, blockages, and inflammation, to name just a few. Now, of course, some health conditions like degenerative bone condition, etc., are due to anemia, are due to nutritional deficiency. But this is only a small fraction of the health issues that people have. And a majority of people who have nutritional deficiencies, generally go to taking supplements. They don't come to Ayurvedic doctor like me. So most of the health problems that people face today have very little benefit from taking vitamins and supplements. That's the main point. That's what we're talking about here, the limitations of nutritional therapy. And most of the time when people do appointments for me for their diabetes, their high blood pressure, their cholesterol, their kidney failure, their cancer, they've already, quote, tried everything. And when I ask them, or in their intake form, when they list off all supplements and herbal products that they're currently taking, they're mostly listing vitamins and minerals. And, these conditions are generally not a nutritional problem. So that's why their idea of taking everything is really doing nothing. I mean, if you're congested and you're blocked up, say you have gallbladder congestion, you got fatty liver congestion, you've got high cholesterol, your blood's too thick, you're constipated, maybe you have no appetite till afternoon. These are all, you have lymphatic blockage, you have swelling. These are all congestive conditions. You're blocked up, you're clogged up in many different systems and organs in your body. So vitamins have nothing to do with it. So taking all your vitamins is usually practically a waste when you're this blocked up. Particularly if your digestion's poor. How do we know your digestion's poor? Gas, bloating, constipation, and even no appetite. If you're not hungry till 2, 3 o'clock, you have a digestive problem. It's not working. You're supposed to be hungry in the morning, not 2, 3 in the afternoon. So, and many people, of course, don't even see that as a problem, just like many people don't see missing a bowel movement every day, having a bowel movement every other day is a problem. But these are digestive and eliminative issues, and they cannot be solved by taking vitamins and supplements. That's what I mean by the limitations of nutritional therapy. People are trying to treat inflammatory congestions, congestive conditions, dysfunctioning organs, systems in the body that are not working properly, or high levels of toxicity in the body, and they're using vitamins. So these are not nutritional deficiency issues. You're not going to treat kidney failure with vitamins. In fact, most synthetic vitamins will make your kidney condition worse. And all these vitamins that we're talking about, if we're speaking on synthetic vitamins, these are most of these synthetic vitamins, what we call supplements. We call them supplements. Herbs are not supplements. People call my herb supplements, and I don't like it because they're not supplementing anything. I mean, all herbs now do have vitamins and minerals in them. So if you're taking a lot of herbs morning, afternoon, and evening, you are getting a lot of vitamins. And a lot of times people's nutritional problems go away just by taking the herbal remedy. Even though we're treating a condition and the herbs have actions, they also have nutrients in them because they're just derived from plants. And sometimes, we don't know that these herbs, we didn't know in ancient times, of course, that these herbs had high vitamin C. I mean, took things like ascorbic acid. I'm sorry, the amla berry for certain conditions and like immunity. But nowadays we know that amla berry is very high in vitamin C. But in ancient times they didn't have vitamin. Nutritional therapy is a very relatively new science. And my point is it's very limited. Not that it doesn't have any value. I mean, if you have a nutritional deficiency, if you're anemic and your iron is low, then you may need to take an iron supplement. Now, of course, you just could have some meat soup, would probably be easier to digest and not as constipating as most iron supplements. But the point is the same. If you have a deficiency, fine. You could take a supplement, hopefully a natural, food-based, easy to absorb supplement, not a synthetic supplement. And if you have degenerative bones, maybe you want to take some D, you want to take some calcium. But a lot of research has shown this calcium that people are taking, of course, there's many types of calcium citrate, calcium magnesinate, and a few others. They're all different, first of all. All synthetic calcium sources are not the same. And their absorbability is debatable. And some of these synthetic supplements can even lead to other health issues like kidney stones. Many people have been taking calcium supplements, and when they draw their blood, their calcium is high, but their bones are still degenerative because they're not absorbing it. It's not going to the bones. It's in their blood. So the blood work looks good, but the bones are still, degenerative. And, so generally the nutritionist will just increase the dosage of the calcium, increase the D3, and try to, artificially, grow these bones using synthetic substances. So, but once again, there's all herbs have vitamins, and there's herbs. We have a herb hajut in Ayurveda, and it's used for Ashtishringala, and it's used for degenerative bone conditions. So we give it for osteoarthritis and degenerative bones. Now, and they've been doing it for thousands of years, but recent research out of India has shown that it has incredibly high amounts of calcium and minerals in it. So they didn't know about the vitamins because that's just a isolated breakdown of the value of foods. And they've tried to reproduce these in a chemical synthetic form and hoping that they absorb by the body. But not all the time did they absorb. I mean, for example, look at the history of vitamin D. I mean, the original vitamin D, which we could call D1, but at the time they just called it D. Well, they found out that didn't absorb at all. It was completely useless, and they were putting it in milk for a long time. And then, so that's why they came with D2. Now, there were other complications with D2. They thought D2 was more similar to the D that is, that's made on our skin, which later they called D3. But at the time, they were only up to D2. But there were some problems with D2. I'm not sure if it was absorbability, but it was a real dud. Didn't work. So we don't even hear much about it. And then now we're up to D3. Now, D3 is still a processed chemical, which is also used in larger amounts in rat poisoning, by the way, if you look that up. I can't say the name of it right now because I don't want to mispronounce it. But, that is D3 is a chemical. I mean, it is not growing on a tree. So, and so, there these, maybe the D4 is going to be better. But now there is natural sources of all these vitamins. It's, the year 2024, all these synthetic vitamins were all kind of discovered in the 50s and the 60s. And at the time, I'm sure they helped many people. But now we're in the, 2020s. We have food-based supplements available everywhere online in every health food store. There's no need to buy these synthetic vitamins anymore. And most of these synthetic vitamins in supplements are petroleum extracts and coal tar derivatives and chemically processed sugar and industrially processed fish oils. and they also are using industrial chemicals to extract them. So all of these synthetic vitamins, you don't see the word organic on them. They're basically industrial chemicals. Now, I did a little research on that right before this webinar, and I want to just go through it quickly. For example, vitamin A or beta carotene is coming from methyl, benzene, and petroleum esters and other refined oils. B1, of course, the natural source is just nutritional yeast, by the way, comes from coal tar derivatives and hydrochloric acid and some other processes using ammonia. It's really quite complicated. B2, which also is like all these B vitamins, they're all in nutritional yeast and even rice bran. So if you're having rice bran, every day, or putting a little tablespoon of nutritional yeast in your food, or as I do, I give it to my animals, nutritional yeast, then you're going to get all these B vitamins in a natural sense. But B2 is produced with the 2N acetic acid. I'm not sure what that is, but D3 is coal derivatives, and also using ammonia and some other acids. D5, they're actually processing it with formaldehyde. And D6, also a petroleum ester and hydrochloric acid processed with formaldehyde. D6, they're using sulfuric acid. D9, it's also processed with petroleum derivatives and other acids. B12, contains some process that they're using cyanide. I mean, this is a chemical description here. These are chemicals, and processed with chemicals. It's like industrial chemicals are extracting the vitamins. I mean, they're mining these from the earth, but they have to use chemicals to extract out many of these nutrients. And I think that's what it's referring to. BX, as it's referred to as sometimes PABA, is also a coal derivative. And let's see, vitamin C. Of course, we could get a lot of vitamin C just from citrus fruits. Is a hydrogenated sugar processed with acetone. And D3, of course, is another chemical, and it's often irradiated animal fat, cattle brains, or other ways they've extracted this. It's quite complicated, this chemical process here. So it goes on. DK, you can get a lot of DK just from alfalfa or dark leafy greens, but what you're buying in the store is derived from coal derivatives. And there's also, I did another little research here for this webinar for you, talking about a comparison between the food-based vitamin, which I'm going to talk about and recommend some food-based vitamins here in a minute, besides, of course, just changing your diet. But the vitamin A in a food-based substance, there are food-based vitamins available, is 54% more absorbable in the blood and also more complete. And see, because these vitamin A, B, C, D, and E, these are all isolates. It's just an isolate of that particular vitamin. They're not whole. They're not complete. They don't have the other nutrients that come along with it. So if you eat carrots or have carrot juice, you're going to get a big dose of vitamin A, but you're getting all the other nutrients, phytonutrients, vitamins, and of course, it's incredibly easy to absorb carrot juice. Much healthier than taking a vitamin A isolated synthetic substance made from chemicals. And that's what most people are buying every day. B complex are more effective in natural form, more effective in maintaining good health and better for the liver, because a lot of these synthetic substance vitamins you can see are coal derivatives, petroleum derivatives, and processed with a lot of chemicals. So they're all toxic to some degree for the liver. So anybody with liver failure, kidney failure, I tell them to stop all vitamins, even food-based vitamins initially until the condition starts to improve, but definitely these synthetic vitamins. But B1 or thiamine is 38 more absorbable into the blood in a natural source. Riboflavin B2 is 92% more retained in the liver than a synthetic isolated source. B3, niacin, 4 times more absorbed into the blood. B5, 57% more absorbed. I can't vouch for these numbers, but I do know that food-based supplements have a much greater ability to absorb than these synthetic ones. And the list goes on with, B12, natural source, being 2.5 times more absorbable, and vitamin E in a natural source like wheat germ oil is going to be 4 times the free radical scavenging strength than a synthetic vitamin E. And vitamin K in a natural source is going to be much safer, particularly for children. And vitamin H can be 100 times more effective, apparently, according to that research. I can't vouch for those numbers, but the point is food-based supplements are valuable. I mean, I take a natural men's food-based supplement. I take a zinc. I take a food-based natural D, and there are some companies making these. So I'm not going to vouch for any one particular company here. I'm just going to tell you the main companies that make food-based supplements, and you can go online to your favorite shopping site, and you can just type food-based vitamin, multivitamin woman, food-based vitamin for men, food-based vitamin D, food-based vitamin C. You just have to add the word food-based. Now, you hit food-based because the price is double. Now, now I'm going to show a few companies and tell you, because they're very accessible. There's no need to sign up for and buy some expensive online supplement. I see so many people, my patients, bringing me these fancy bottles with colorful labels, and they have big websites, and they talk about how they're a phytonutrient or a nutraceutical, and they're more extract and they're more powerful. I said, okay, just skip all the hype. Let me see the ingredients. And then when I look at the ingredients, it's just a bunch of same old synthetic vitamins you'd buy in the corner store. Now, sometimes the trick they do is they put in a bunch of synthetic vitamins, and then they throw in a little bit of natural food. Okay, say vitamin C. The whole thing is just ascorbic acid in the first place. But then they throw in some rose hips extract so they can put on the front of it vitamin C from rose hips. But when you go look at the back, I mean, there's very little rose hips in it. It's mostly just ascorbic acid. And again, this ascorbic acid, it's got downfalls and limitations as well. So here's another some other companies I would recommend. This company here is one of the older companies that made food-based supplements, Omega Foods. And I have this sample because this one is called Blood Builder, and it's for iron deficiency. And I recommend it to women because, of course, a lot of women, they have iron deficiency from excess menstrual bleeding, which really is the cause and needs to be treated instead of just taking, an iron supplement. But that's another story. And then you can see on the back what they extract it from. And they have a long list of all these little vitamins here. They also put in some vitamin C with organic orange. Now, here they are mixing. See, they put a little ascorbic acid with this orange extract. So these guys are a little bit mixing. And, they're getting some of this this iron from beetroot powder. And they put in folic. They're getting folic from, not folic acid. Folic acid is the synthetic version. So you can always tell by looking at a vitamin, just look at the folate. If it says folate acid, it's synthetic. If it just says folate, then it's not. And this one says folate derived from broccoli. extracts. So that's why you see they got a little picture on the front of all the little fruit. And what they're doing is they're extracting the nutrients, often from microgreens, which are very powerful. And I've been starting to grow them myself in my closet. And they're just like sprouted vegetables at the early age. And that's where a lot of these food-based supplements started from. They would take broccoli sprouts and spinach sprouts, and when they're just real small, and chop them off, and then they would extract the nutrients from them because they were very nutrient dense. So that company, Mega Foods, is probably not the best now, but it is a good company, and they do sometimes mix some synthetic vitamins with the food base, but they were new. And then later on, we had some better companies come out, like this one here, Garden of Life. And you can see it says raw zinc. So this is a good product. And when you look at the back, it says zinc from brown rice. So we know right there. And it says vitamin C from the culture of some fungus I can't pronounce. And then it has raw organic fruits, and it's going apple, beetroot, broccoli, flower extracts. It goes on and on. And then they even throw in some probiotics and some enzymes. So that's really superior zinc to what you would buy in the store, or even what your medical doctor will give you. Generally, the medical doctors are giving you the cheapest, lowest quality synthetic vitamins money could buy. You could go do better just going to your health food store. And then that's Garden of Life. Another company is New Chapter. I don't have one of their samples, but New Chapter came around a little later, and they're also very good, 100% food-based. I think that's what the New Chapter, it's like a new chapter in herbal supplements, and very quality. And see, the main point is they're easy to absorb. The numbers are not as high. They're not as stimulating as synthetic vitamins, but you're not going to have the liver toxicity. You're not going to have other side effects. You're going to have a much greater absorbability, basically much safer. Now, this is a new company that's come out, nutritional, and they've come out with 100% food-based vitamins. And here is their D3, which they're extracting as a plant-based D3. There's also a D3 they can get from mushrooms, because mushrooms do have D3 in them. And there's another company that makes a natural D3. So I'd recommend everybody to have D3 unless you're really getting out in the sun as much as I do. And probably everybody needs it, particularly in climates that are cloudy and overcast in the winter, and immunity's low and you have low bone density. But for God's sakes, go buy a better quality one than the cheapest D3. Once it's a little sublingual, once it's a drop on your tongue, it's a chemical. You're putting a chemical in your body. These supplements, you won't see the numbers as high. Particularly, you can look at like B12. A lot of times these companies, they'll jack up B12. They'll be like 2,000, 3,000% of your daily recommended of B12. Why do they do that? Because it's giving you energy. It's stimulating. I've had people that were coming to me with insomnia and racing heart, and I found out it was their supplements, particularly these B12. They were taking a multi with a 2,000% of your daily recommended allowances of B12. Then they were taking another B complex, all synthetic vitamins, another couple thousand. When they stopped those, their heart stopped racing, and which is why they were taking magnesium, because their heart was racing, and they only realized later it was the supplements making their heart race, and it was keeping them up at night. Even though these B vitamins are water soluble, they only stay in your body for 4 or 5 hours. Some very sensitive people, particularly if you take these supplements later in the day, can affect even your sleep. But for very sensitive types, they can even increase your anxiety and heart palpitations and create other little complications. Okay, say you're traveling, you're overseas, you're worried about your immune health. Okay, take some D, take some synthetic zinc. It's not going to hurt you for a short period of time. But we're talking, people don't take supplements for a short period of time. They take them for decades. And that's where you start having the health problems. A lot of other health issues like, just liver toxicity, making your kidney issues worse, aggravating kidney failure, creating certain types of kidney stones. And besides, these are not absorbing as well as you think. And the whole system kind of supports this false belief that these synthetic substances are the same, because you take the synthetic vitamin, say you take a calcium supplement, and then you go to the doctor and you have your blood drawn. Well, he's just drawing from your blood. He doesn't really know how much of this calcium is absorbing in your bones. That's why they didn't know D1 was working, because you would take it and then they would go measure your blood and your blood works fine, but the bones weren't getting any stronger. So then they realized, oh, it's not working. It's not absorbing. So then they did D2 and then they did D3. And I'm sure it's better, but I don't take no D3. See, I just take D, and from a food-based source. Easily absorbable, less other complications. And if you're trying to live a natural life and trying to have organic diet, why are you popping in synthetic substances every day that are basically industrial chemicals and processed and made with industrial chemicals? Well, I hope I've made my point. So, I would just bag all those synthetic vitamins, and they're not helping you with your high blood pressure, your cholesterol, your diabetes. You see a lot of ads online saying, take this niacin, it's going to lower your blood pressure. It's a vascular dilator. It helps but okay, sure. We know that niacin will help with circulation. It's a vascular dilator, but it's not a treatment for high blood pressure. And the niacin you're talking is synthetic anyway. So, you could get niacin from Brewer's Yeast and Rice brand, and it only lasts for 4 hours in your body anyway, because it's water soluble. It's not a fat soluble vitamin like E, D, and A. And of course, a vitamin, some of these fat soluble vitamins can become toxic in greater amounts because they're stored in your liver, like vitamin A. So there's such thing as vitamin A toxicity, and that's because it stores in your liver. And if you just keep popping those A's in every single day for a long period of time, then you can actually have symptoms of excess A. And these vitamins can create excess. And magnesium, people are using it to relax their colon, to go to the toilet. Well, this doesn't fix your constipation. Your constipation is based on your poor digestion, your snacking on crackers, nuts, and chips and dry food and other factors. But now you're not fixing the causes of the digestion. You're not fixing the causes of your elimination, and you're not cleaning out the diverticuli in your colon. You're just taking magnesium, which is making your colon relax, and then the bowels come out. It's mostly people who are tense and have anxiety, and they're taking these doses to relax and to even help their bowel movements. So once they take them for 10 years, then you have what's called lazy colon. And I've seen it many times. It's like you've been taking the magnesium so long, when you stop it, you can't even go to the bowel movement, even though you've changed your diet and you're eating all soft, mushy, warm foods. The whole colon has become lazy from you taking this magnesium for an extended period of time. But again, back to taking supplements to treat high blood pressure, cholesterol, or cancer. No, you're going in the wrong direction. It's a completely wrong direction. All these hyped up ads, you see a lot of people, take this and you're going to have all this energy. This is supercharged. This has got, energy force, brain force. I wake me up every morning. Well, these are just packed with synthetic vitamins, particularly this B12. It's just jacking them up, by rushing these supplements synthetic supplements into their bloodstream and giving you a boost of energy. And, like niacin, you're short-term, you're dilating your vascular system and, probably helping to prevent a stroke, but you're not fixing the cardiovascular problem. You need herbal treatments and probably a change in diet to address these health conditions. I mean, there's herbs that can lower your blood pressure. There's herbs that can lower your cholesterol. There's herbs that can fight cancer cells. It is not vitamins. They're not vitamins, So this is what we're talking about in this whole subject here. The limitation of nutritional therapy. I didn't say it's useless. I just told you I take vitamin D, this company right here I showed you. I take a New Chapter multivitamin for men. I take a zinc. So, it's good to supplement our vitamin, our diet. That's what supplementation is. Now, I grow some of my own food. I only eat organic, but still I'm supplementing a little bit on the side just to cover my bases. And I'm having food-based supplements. So I'm not causing more problems. And I know that's not treating my health conditions. It's not improving my digestion. Oh, we could go on to things like enzymes. People take digestive enzymes. Well, that's not really a supplement. It's a replacement therapy. You're replacing the enzymes, amylase, protease, etc., that help you digest fats, carbohydrates, and protein. And you're now taking a supplement. Well, that your pancreas should be making, and your body should be, producing these enzymes by itself. And now you're popping in a pill every day. It's good. Bernard Jensen was the one who really started this in the 70s, and later in life, I think in his final book, he said he shouldn't have never recommended these enzymes so much because you create dependence. Your body stops making them, and now you have to keep taking them with every meal. There's people back in the 70s and even as late as the 80s that had to take a couple digestive enzymes with every single meal. I've met elderly people who had that trap where they couldn't eat a meal without the digestive enzymes. So now their whole pancreas and their whole system has stopped making them. It's like hormone replacement. You got to be very careful with hormone replacement. It's another subject, but these are synthetic hormones. Now they call them bioidentical, but they're still synthetic. Your body's supposed to be making these hormones. Unless your whole reproductive system's been removed, like in the case of a hysterectomy, you should not need to take synthetic or bioidentical hormones. Your body can still make hormones even at an older age. It's a problem with your reproductive system, and herbal remedies can improve that. And so it can improve your cardiovascular system, improve the function of your reproductive system. And of course, herbs can take care of the other issues, which I talked about, that are not nutritional. For inflammation, you want inflammation in the colon? Well, no vitamin is going to do that. In fact, for people with ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, we have to have them stop not only hot, spicy foods, but we have to have them stop all these supplements. I mean, you're having bleeding out of the colon or just pain and inflammation in the descending colon, then you're taking all these synthetic vitamins. It's making it worse. And many people do realize that once they have IBS, they say, oh my God, I had to stop my vitamins. They were giving me diarrhea. Well, that's right. They probably even led up to the problem. You're popping in all these supplements, sometimes on an empty stomach, when most of them should be combined with the food. And then you're going to irritate your intestinal lining. But I digress. So we go back to the subject of what we can take instead. We now know that, these synthetic vitamins are out. Just forget them. It's 2024. Just toss them. And now get food-based supplements. And be careful there. Don't overdo it. Just get what you need. And try to get more of your food from, of course, your diet by eating well. Just taking a bunch of vitamins can't make up for a bad diet. But even going one step further, we'll say the new chapter of taking supplements is you don't even need to take any pills. Nowadays, we have powdered foods that can cover all of your nutritional deficiencies. So keep in mind, these nutritional supplements are not going to treat chronic health conditions. They're not going to unclog the body. Herbs can unclog the gallbladder, get the liver moving. They can help with cirrhosis. They can get the colon moving. They can get rid of constipation. They can get circulation moving. See, these congestive issues are not nutritional. So the vitamins are useless until the whole system is moving again. And if your digestion's poor and you're popping in a bunch of supplements, you're not absorbing them anyway. Even if they're food-based. You have to fix the digestion first. 90% of all my clients, I tell them to stop all supplements, all vitamins, food-based, everything, unless they're really anemic or they have a real deficiency, which is obvious from their blood work. Then I put them on a food-based supplement, a mild one, until I improve the digestion, until I unclog the system, until I get the inflammation down using all herbal remedies. In fact, Ayurveda has a nutritional science. It's called Rasiana. And Rasiana means restorative. But Ayurveda treats all of your health conditions first, starting with your digestion, then all your health issues, your diabetes, your high blood pressure, your cholesterol, your inflammation, and all of these conditions first. And then when they're all done, and now you don't have a bunch of health conditions like somebody like myself, then we take the new food-based nutritional supplements. Now, of course, in Ayurveda, they didn't have little capsules. They had powders. We'll give you a first example here. This is Shilajit, which many people have heard of. We sell it in a powder form here, and we call it mineral energy powder. Okay, for those of you who are watching the video, I'll describe it for those who are not. It says high in trace minerals, removes fatigue, rejuvenative, and useful in several diseases. It's folic acid and many trace minerals, which we know were very deficient in trace minerals due to the agricultural processes that we have today, where they're using synthetic supplements, synthetic chemicals to grow our plants. So they don't have the full spectrum of nutrients. They just have the essentials to make the plant grow. So then we end up with the nutritional deficiencies, particularly mineral deficiencies. That's why we call it mineral energy powder, because it's giving you a lot of these minerals, particularly trace minerals, and a lot of people get a lot of energy from taking it, which shows they were deficient in these trace minerals. So this is Shilajit. It's very powerful. You only need like a quarter teaspoon a day, and you can cover a lot of trace minerals, and they've been taking it for thousands of years. Did they call it vitamins? No. But they knew that it was beneficial, and it's not. We use it also for treatments. There's many treatments and conditions that can be treated with Shilajit, but in this sense, we're just talking about it as kind of a nutritional. I do take Shilajit every single day too, for stamina, energy, libido, and covering those trace minerals. Now, by the way, our sponsor to as always for these podcasts is Herbman Teas. So we have a few products here from Herbman Teas that can be beneficial for those who you're looking at the video. There's one called Nutritional Superfood Tea. Improves nutritional health, good for children, elderly, and tastes good and improves energy. So we can see some of these herbs are in here are super nutritional. Alfalfa, that's what my horse is living off of. Nettle, probably the most nutritional food there is. Horsetail, which we know has natural sources of collagen and other minerals. Hibiscus, which we know has a lot of vitamin C. Lemon peel, a lot of vitamin C. And then, of course, we just add a little cinnamon, coriander, and stevia for taste, and we put it in a base of peppermint so it tastes good. And this is often used just for depleted, weak children or depleted, weak elderly, or anybody who wants to have something more nutritional than just drinking a glass of water. For example, I gave this to my children because it's better than water. It tastes good. I put the peppermint and stevia in there and the cinnamon, so it tastes good. And then I hit it all these nutritional, herbs like nettle and horsetail and alfalfa. So much better than just drinking water. And it tastes better. It's easy to get people to drink it. Very, very effective. And you can buy that on herbmanteas.com. That's nutritional superfood tea. Highly recommended. And of course, use the discount code podcast10 for 10% off. But I want to show you a few more supplements that we make. We make 3 lines of nutritional supplements because not everybody's the same. This one is we call building nutritional superfood. Now, originally, this was called Vata superfood. This is for depletion, weakness, and low stamina. So this is a thin person, thin and a cold person, a Vata Prakriti, we call it. And look at the first ingredients, wheatgrass, truly a superfood. Now, Dasha Mula is an herb. Dasha means 10, Mula means roots, so this is 10 roots, but we know it's very nutritious. There's moringa, which has become popular, and we know it's super nutritious. And there's spirulina and chlorella, which are, sea plankton, which whales live off of, so it's super nutritious. There's a little ashwagandha in there for the stamina. And there's beetroot powder, which we know is loaded with more nutrition. Cumin, cinnamon, and ginger are just more for the flavor and the digestion. And kelp, which we has not only has some salt in it, but a wide range of other nutrients in kelp. Super nutritious. And you take 2 or 3 teaspoons of this day, and if you per day, in about 8 ounces of warm milk. So this is not for an overweight person. This is for a depleted person, a thin, skinny, depleted person. That's why we're putting milk in there, because milk is very nutritional, very building. And of course, we've known for a long time, particularly from the research Weston A. Price did, that raw milk is the best for building your teeth, as Weston A. Price just determined in his research. But your bones, your nails, your hair. So these people, they're buying these calcium supplements when you could just drink raw milk and dairy every day. Now, there are other types of nutritional needs that people have. Not everybody's a thin, cold, skinny person who needs a weight gaining building formula. So this is a nutritional supplement here called weight loss nutritional superfood. Now, this one says for a meal replacement for a healthy weight loss, because it's a lot of people that when they're trying to lose weight, they just starve themselves to death, and then they get nutritional deficiencies. So we give them this to have instead of a meal. Spirulina, first ingredient, it's great for weight loss. Alfalfa, super loaded with vitamins. Punarava, which actually is an herb. So you can see how I put some herbs in here as well. I mixed them in. Punarava is for swelling and water retention and weight loss. Nettle, you saw before. Beetroot, you saw before. Moringa, you saw before. And this person is overweight and heavy and sluggish. So we put a little black pepper and cayenne in there and a little stevia for taste. And here you get 2 or 3 teaspoons a day, but in a milk substitute like almond milk for breakfast to replace a meal. So this is a person has this for breakfast and skips the meal. So they have all their vitamins and their nutrients, plus some herbs that help with weight loss. And that helps them to have healthy weight loss. You don't starve yourself to death when you're a busy person, taking care of kids, you have a job, just not eating all day and then pigging out at night is the common fad called intermediate fasting. This is completely the wrong way to fast. But here, replacing your meal with a whole food nutritional supplement or food-based vitamins and minerals like this. We don't even know all the vitamins and minerals in this. All we know is people who take it every day for long periods of time go to the doctor and get their blood work done, and all their blood work's in order, even their D, by just taking these powdered food base. See, I don't like the capsules. They're extracts. They're expensive. I still think there's limitations with these food-based supplements, even though I admit I take a few, but I prefer these powdered ones much better because I'm really just taking powdered food. And this is the one that I take, the third one. It's for the Pitta Prakriti. It says cooling nutritional food because I'm kind of a warm guy, get kind of hot. So I can't take that other one that's got all that ginger or the other one with the black pepper. I need a more cooling one. So we use the grasses. The grasses are very nutritional and very cooling. Barley grass, wheatgrass, number one. And then alfalfa, of course, is for the nutrition. Then shatavari is a cooling sweet herb, just to keep the pitta guy cool and sweet. And chlorella, super nutritious. Amla berry, the highest known source of vitamin C in the planet. And coriander seed, a little turmeric, and a little stevia for flavor. And here it says you can take in whole milk or a milk substitute like coconut milk. This is the one I take every day, sometimes twice a day when I'm really busy. That's called cooling nutritional superfood. Once again, these are sold by herbmanteas.com, and you can get 10% off all these by using the discount code podcast10. So you can see how I cover my nutrition. I take my superfood every day. I take a little Shilajit, which I put in my superfood every day. And then I still take a couple food-based supplements. Now, I can forget my food-based supplements every day, but I never forget my superfood because my superfood formula is giving me the stamina and the strength. Like if I forget it in the morning, I feel tired in the afternoon, and then I have to take it for sure in the afternoon. And if I don't have a breakfast in the morning because I'm so busy, I have to have my nutritional superfood to kind of get me through until maybe a late breakfast. So this is a much healthier approach. And, I do get all my blood work checked very thoroughly. And when I go to India, extensive blood work checking, much easier to do in India because they have special labs separate from your doctors. You just go in and they give you a big list of what you want to check. And I always check not only my lipid panel but all my minerals and nutritional panel. And as long as I've been taking my superfoods, it's all good. I think they work even better than these vitamins, but I'm covering my bases. I throw in a little natural zinc during the winter. And when it's cloudy and overcast, particularly during the winter, I take a natural vitamin D, and I do try to pop a natural men's multi food-based one every day, just to cover my bases, particularly if I'm traveling. So I hope this enlightened you to the limitations of nutritional therapy, not to be relying on nutritional treatments to treat your chronic health issues, and realize they're only supplementation that you're adding to your somewhat deficient diet, because our food that we grow is often deficient in the minerals and the vitamins that they should have had if they were grown, say, organically in a garden. Now, of course, if you're eating organically homegrown food, which I try to grow as much as I can myself, then this is loaded with the real vitamins and the nutrients, particularly like in my case where I'm making my own compost from horse manure. And he's just eating alfalfa. So even his manure is good. And then, of course, I create a lot of compost left over from all my herbal teas. And then my tree trimmings and things like that, I blend them all together, I compost them, and then next year I use it in my soil. And so I'm making my own soil, I'm growing my own vegetables, I'm only using organic, natural fertilizers. And I don't have to fight off the bugs. I've got a little more bug problem, but hey, if the bugs are eating it, I know it's good. I know it's healthy if a bug's eating it. So, and this is preventive. Nutritional therapy really is only preventive. Most people, once you've got a degenerative bone condition, you need nutritional therapy, but just taking cheap synthetic vitamins from the corner store or the supermarket is insufficient. Don't think that little calcium tablet is going to build your bones that much. There's plenty of clients I've had with osteopenia, degenerative bone conditions, been taking calcium for 20 years, and then they finally got a bone density test, and their bone density is still weak. Now, of course, they're probably postmenopausal, estrogen's lower, and things like that. But they were counting on that calcium tablet, and it didn't work. They probably weren't absorbing it. They were probably urinating it out. That's why when you take these cheap synthetic vitamins, you have this big orange urination. Well, that you just peed out all the chemicals. You don't get orange urination having brewer's yeast and these natural substances. No, because they're not a bunch of chemicals you're just going to urinate out. So bag the synthetic vitamins and then get whole food ones, and realize you're really just being more preventive at that case. And that's what you want to do when you're healthy. All my 50 odd animals, my chicken and maybe a horse you can see in the background, I'm giving them all vitamins. I'm giving them during the summer where they're hot. I'm giving them electrolytes. Now, okay, I confess, I'm giving them synthetic vitamins. I can't afford to give my horse whole food supplements. So yeah, I'm giving him synthetic vitamins, but I give him a lot of wheat germ oil. I give him dump brewer's yeast in there, so that's natural. And I do give him some grain that's got a bunch of synthetic vitamins in it. I'm trying to avoid health problems with my animals. Now, I've had my horse over 20 years. He's never been to a vet, never had any health issues, and that's because he's been eating good. And of course, he has a low stress life, just walking around grazing in the front of the house. And then, going back in the back, he's got almost an acre to himself. So he's got a good life, low stress, a lot of vitamins, a lot of extra oil in his diet, wheat germ oil, sesame oil. I'm putting all kinds of supplements and brewer's yeast. And same with the animals. I'm pouring oil on their food, fish oil for the cats, brewer's yeast mixed in here and there. But I do give them like little kitty vitamins that are full of synthetic vitamins. So I'm just trying to be preventive to keep them healthy and prevent health problems, because no animal's going to be able to survive on just the cheap food that you buy in the store. That's going to lead to not only deficiency and degenerative bone conditions, low immunity, but since these foods that you get for animals are so poor grade, they're probably cancer causing over time. And almost all your health problems come from animals from lack of nutrients. But it took decades. So these nutritional deficiencies can ultimately result in a lot of health problems long-term down the road. So there's not that these don't have value. And that's why I didn't say nutritional therapy is useless. I just called the title The Limitations of Nutritional Therapy. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned. I hope I educated you, and I hope you're now enlightened on the subject of taking your vitamins. And I hope you relook at all of your vitamins. And if you do have a chronic, serious health condition, go find yourself a good Ayurvedic doctor, and don't think your nutritionist or dietitian loading you up with a bunch of vitamins is going to be able to treat your chronic health condition. You need treatments based on herbal remedies, and probably a change in diet, probably a change in lifestyle as well, way beyond the ability of just taking some synthetic vitamin. God bless you all, and I wish you the best of health and happiness. And I hope you all have a stronger life, a healthier, stronger immune system, less infection, less health problems, and no degenerative conditions and no nutritional deficiencies if you take my advice. Thank you once again, and thank our sponsor for paying all the bills here, herbmanteas.com. And use the discount code podcast 10 for 10% off all products. God bless you all.